another follow-up for me would be, is raw food better than cooked food? Like in terms of raw veggies, raw meats, there are quite a few brands here who freeze dry meat and sell for their pets. So my question is that much better source of protein than kibble again?
So that's a great question because so many people ask us if they can feed their pets raw diet or not. The first thing I usually like to ask them is, why do you prefer raw diet over kibbles or over home food or over fresh food or anything else? What's your main reason for raw diet? That's something I think we can discuss more in the next video. But for this, I'm only going to talk about meat here. I'm not talking about the veggies. That's again something I'll come back to later, just about the meat here. As far as the Indian scenario is concerned, do you really trust the source of the slaughterhouse or where you're getting the meat and all of that? Are you sure it was hygienic? Are you sure that the sourcing the meat in the right way? Because that plays a really important role. Not talking about Indian scenarios, talking in general about raw diet. I personally, as a vet, would never feed my dogs raw food because they carry a lot of infections and they are the source for bacterial infections like E. coli, like Salmonella, and these are what, by the way, you find in case even you had food poisoning. So these are the bacteria that would be responsible for that. And other than that, in raw diets, there's also a very high possibility of a parasitic load being high in the particular meat and that affecting your pet as well. Of course, if you're giving bones, like we covered in the previous video, then there's a lot of choking hazard and all of that that plays a role there as well. And even when it comes to us humans, when we are handling the meat, the raw meat, it can lead to a lot of issues because it's zoonotic. So it can lead to a lot of bacterial infections in humans, a lot of antibiotic resistance in us, a lot of parasitic infections that us as humans can also get just from the meat. And even if you're wearing gloves while you're handling the meat, the fact that our pets stay with us inside our house, on our beds, everything, we're still putting ourselves at risk over there because through their excretions and secretions and all of that, we can still develop these infections and antibiotic resistance. I would literally, again, never, ever, ever feed raw food to my pets. There's very minimal research. And when I talk about research, I'm talking about scientific research and actually backed up research by vets, by nutritionists that has been done on raw diets to even say that they're healthy for pets. So again, it comes back to our original question: why do you want to feed raw diet to your pet over kibbles or over home food? So from my end, it's a definite no.